we have watched over time the activities of some ministers under President Tinubu's government that is signaling trouble ahead for the administration based on their actions and activities against the people and most policies of the former government, which happens to be of the same political party as President Tinubu, and many of these officials actually served in that very administration. It has come to our notice that many of these officials are cancelling approvals and setting aside approvals granted by some former ministers before leaving office. This shows a clear hostility against the former administration that is supposed to be a continuum. But what we are having is a needless battle of supremacy, which as a group we believe is without the consent of Mr. President and thus must be checked on time. The current Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, has been making unprintable remarks concerning most agencies under him, especially the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and the Federal Housing Authority, having served as Managing Director of the Federal Mortgage Bank before being appointed as a minister. We wish to know on what basis he is evaluating these projects and these institutions, as he has not in any way shown leadership and a genuine intention to transform housing in Nigeria since he assumed office. We are demanding to know how much he has collected as allocations ever since he assumed office and what he has used the 100 billion naira that has been released to the ministry for. We also wish to know the real intention of the various committees set up to review agencies under the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, and we hope this is not with a view to privatizing these agencies so that to knock out many of the masses, especially the Federal Mortgage Bank and the Federal Housing Estates that litter this country. What he has done with said allocations, I want to know why he has, and for him to stop reversing the good initiatives of the former minister and the agencies under the ministry. We urge the National Assembly to carry out their oversight function and investigate why the said minister is revoking old contracts and rewarding them to new persons based on criteria that are not very well known to the public. This act calls for concern and should be investigated to prevent a cold war between the former regime and the present one. These steps and statements are pointers to the fact that the minister is destroying legacies of the previous government through reversal and cancellation of policies. This policy, being recently discredited, needs to be reviewed and select one that can further entrench democracy in our society. This informs why we call on the ministers to face the renewed hope agenda and stop destroying the former policies, to seek advice from experienced technocrats. It's a well-established fact that you cannot build something on nothing. And so the attempt to want to build a new administration by destroying the old is one that will definitely backfire. We are aware of significant progress and transformation made by the Federal Housing Authority, with significant improvement of housing by over 700 units, with 333 of it located in Buhari local government area. We have this replicated across the country in places such as Owerri, Port Harcourt, and several other cities of Nigeria. This and many more are what the recent minister wants to truncate and to start afresh. This will pitch the recent government against the former, and this should be avoided now. We don't need cancellation of people-oriented policies. These must continue. And there are other ways by which grievances or misgivings can be addressed rather than this brazen cancellation of policies of the previous government. All hands must be on deck to rally around the new government and entrench good initiatives of the former regime for the betterment of all Nigerians. As a group rooting for the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, we call on the minister and other head of agencies with similar traits to stop and focus on deliverables needed now and not discredit what has been done by the former government, but rather it should be made more robust and delivered upon, consolidated upon for national development and continuity. These agencies under the Housing and Urban Development Ministry should not be allowed to deliver on their mandate. They should be allowed to deliver on their mandate and further encourage rather than what we are having now. It is also instructive for President Tinubu to call the ministers to order rather than letting them play politics with approvals and progress made by the immediate past administration. They should be made to work and support the renewed hope agenda by showing records of their new initiatives and not passing uncomplimentary comments on the activities of the previous government. Indeed, nature abhors vacuum, and we are better off with policies being put in place rather than just criticizing in a blanket manner what has been done before, but rather we need to build upon those. While the head of agencies under them need to deliver on their mandates to Nigerians, and for the ministers to stop playing politics at this juncture of our national history. Indeed, politics ended on 29th of May last year. We are now in the phase of governance. We further reaffirm our support for the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and appeal to Nigerians to let's patiently follow the phase while we regularly expose those with negative intentions within the government. God bless Nigeria and long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.